Hello, it's Jesse with ZBH Tech, and today I'm going to dive into an interesting question. Can you use the Jackery 1000 Explorer V2 as an uninterruptible power supply or UPS? So let's explore this powerful portable battery and see if you can keep your devices running with it in the event of a power outage. So we're going to do a quick overview of what the Jackery 1000 V2 is all about. So the Jackery Explorer 1000 V2 is a popular portable power station with a 1,002 watt-hour capacity and a 1,500 watt output. It's known for its versatility with camping or in emergency situations, but it can function, or can it function better yet, as a UPS. So let's go ahead and break it down here. So the functionality of the UPS is something that Jackery doesn't really advertise too much. You can find it in the details of the description of the product, but it's not anything that they really put out there. And so what do we want it to do? We want the Jackery to be able to switch over to its battery backup in the event that there's a power outage. And how quickly it can do that will determine whether or not it's a sufficient UPS. So as I got researching, or as I started researching backup batteries, I also was in the market for UPS. I came across the Jackery products. I've looked at a lot of the other products. Anchor has some batteries. EcoFlow, there's the main usual suspects as far as what your options are. Jackery is something I've been aware of. They've been around for quite a few years. In fact, I think around 15. And my son has bought a Jackery in the past. So I wanted something that was small enough that I could take it with me, but powerful enough to power my devices and possibly work as a UPS. So that's what I purchased. I went out and purchased the Jackery Explorer 1000 V2 and purchased that with my own money, and I thought I would give it a test. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to switch over to some video that I took, and we can see what happens when I unplug the AC adapter going into the Jackery so that it kicks its battery on. Let's see what happens. All right, so I took some video here of what I have in my crawl space where all my network equipment is. So here's the Jackery. It's still charging. I've got a QNAP NAS, a Synology NAS, external hard drive, power strip there with some things plugged in. I've got a 48-port switch there. I've got a PoE switch along with a couple of hubs that run my temperature sensors and some home automation. So just taking a look here at what I've got. Sorry about the cables. They're kind of a mess. Every time I do them nice, they have to be undone. And yeah, just looking at the Jackery here, my output has been lowered because I unplugged a few things, so it's around 160 now. But yeah, that's what I've got running. So let's go ahead and unplug and see what happens. Alrighty, gonna go ahead and do a test. So I'm gonna unplug the power right from the wall. But I'm gonna, unplug it right here. It goes right to the wall, I should have said. So I've unplugged it, and it didn't even miss a beat. It skipped, right over to battery, jumped right over. I got my NAS is still running. Both of my NAS devices are running. They haven't had any problems at all. I didn't see any flickering of lights or anything like that. So I'm looking at, I'm about 170 watts usage, 160. I believe that'll give me about 5.5 hours worth of runtime on battery when I'm at 100%. So here I'm only showing I'm at 90. We're still in the process of charging it, so I'm going to go ahead and plug it back in and just take a look at the display. And yep, you can see my input voltage comes back because I'm charging again, and no problems at all. So I didn't see any issues at all with the switchover. I did it a couple of different times with no issues. All right, so let's wrap things up. So overall, how do I feel about using this Jackery 1000 V2? as a UPS, and I feel good about it. It passed all my testing, so the devices that I use, it's going to work great for. Now, they do list about a 20 millisecond switchover time. For my devices, which are 2 NAS devices and then a switch and some other networking equipment, it worked fine. So you may want to deep dive into what you have and if it's going to work. But I also was after a multifunction device that could act as a battery backup and also as a UPS, so I could use it either way. So it totally fit my needs. Just make sure you check your own as far as what you need. So we'll run my devices for about 5.5 hours, which is great. So that's a big pro. Another pro is just the continuous power that it provides, and that it's a clean sine wave, and also that the Jackery uses the new updated batteries that last, I think, 4,000 cycles before it goes down to 80%. So it's like 10 years basically worth of usage, because they use the new updated lithium batteries. I think they're Life Pro or something like that. Don't quote me on that. So anyway, the other thing is multiple outputs. It's got 3 ports for the AC inverter. It's got, I believe, 3 USB-C ports, a USB-A port, and then the what I call the cigarette lighter port. I'm sure there's a more technical term maybe than that, but that's what it is. So has plenty of ports. And then, a couple cons. When you switch it over to battery, there's no way to tell the Jackery to start turning devices off. So it won't communicate with the devices at all like a professional UPS system would. And if the battery runs all the way down to 0, it won't, when it recharges, when the power comes back on, it won't kick that AC inverter back on. You'd have to manually push the button to turn the AC inverter back on. So that is a con, that you have to do that. But it's totally acceptable for the way I'm using it at my home. So that's not a problem, but it definitely is a con. So those are the things that I have found useful with it. It totally passed all my testing. And yeah, it worked good. So hopefully, if this content has helped you, like this video, subscribe to my channel. That really does help me out. But hopefully this information is useful for you, and maybe you can purchase a backup battery that also runs as a UPS, and kind of do a multifunction device there with that. All right, until next time, have a good one.